Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk a little about why some farmers bale residue out in their fields and others just leave the residue until the next crop.
All right, let's just use corn as a great crop that is an example of this. With corn, you often see just the grain being harvested in the fields and all the corn stalks and leaves are left out in the field. And this is what we're talking about. Some farmers will bale some or all of that residue up, all those leaves and stalk pieces, and others just leave it all out in the field. And it does make a big difference in terms of the management of the farm, and there are a lot of reasons why you may bale it or you may not.
Okay, so let's start with why would you bale this residue up? Biggest reason is you've got livestock and you need that for the livestock. So could it be feed a little bit, bedding? I mean, there are a number of different purposes for that, but it's basically coming down to you have livestock, or maybe you want to bale it up and sell it to someone who does have livestock.
All right, now here's the other thing. You do see cattle out grazing in fields in the fall. Now, if you've got a fenced-in field and it's close to home, well, that's pretty nice. You can just run the cattle out there, let them graze those stalks. You don't have to go through all the work of baling it up. However, farmers may have fields that either don't have a fence around them or they're a little too far away from home. And they say, you know, I'm probably better off doing the work, going out, baling that up and bringing it back home to my livestock. The other thing is maybe you've got too much land and you've got a whole bunch of bales and it's going to take all winter to feed them up. Well, you're not going to have cattle out in those fields all winter exposed to the elements. You want them back in your yard where they got protection. So that's another reason you may want to bring those bales back home.
The reason why a lot of farmers will bale up the residue is they just want less residue in the field. So it's easier to do full tillage, strip tillage, any field practice that they're doing, and then they feel like they get a better seed to soil contact in the spring and faster emergence in the spring. So this is a reason why you'll see some farmers taking that residue off the field.
Okay, let's talk about why you want to leave it in the field. Now, it may just be because you don't have livestock, so I don't have an alternative. I guess it's just going to stay out there. But let's just say it is a conscious decision, like it is for us. We could let that residue go away, or we could bale it up and sell it to somebody, but we want to leave residue out there because we want to cover the ground, want to protect the soil, reduce whatever wind or rain erosion there could potentially be in the field. So there are some good reasons for leaving that residue out there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I think about is nutrients. When fertilizer is expensive, there are a number of nutrients in that residue that I'd like to have in my field. If I take the residue away, I have to spend more money on fertilizer. Since fertilizer is at an all-time high price right now, I don't really want to pay that bill. So we're certainly leaning in our operation more toward, you know what, I'd like to just leave that residue out there.
Well, farmers do make a decision. Do I leave residue in the field or do I take it away? And they got a lot of reasons for that. Oftentimes it's livestock, why they would take it away to feed it to the livestock. But building up your soil, it's kind of nice to leave that fertility and that residue out in the field.
Yeah, and erosion protection too. When you have the residue out in the field, your ground is more tolerant to wind and rain erosion. You don't have as many issues.
Well, one thing I don't want to leave in the field is our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?